Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from YourBlackWorld.com, and you know that anybody who follows anything that I do, you know that there is one guy that I respect probably as much as anybody on this planet, and that is Father Michael Pfleger. He is the head of the St. Sabina Church in the south side of Chicago. He has been a relentless advocate for justice and equality throughout America, not just for people of color, but for all people. And he is a person that is willing to do what's necessary in order to do what's right. And I've got Father Pfleger on the line today, and I want to ask Father Pfleger, how are you doing today, brother?
Great, sir, and believe me, the respect is mutual. I have tremendous respect for your voice and for your courageous willingness to continue to address issues and ask the hard questions. So I thank you for what you do.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you. And now, right now, we're in the middle of a really interesting time in America. We just had a horrible tragedy take place in Connecticut, and a lot of people are becoming sensitive to talking about one of the issues that you've been very consistent about, which is dealing with gun violence and also gun control. And right after the incident took place, one of the things that I really appreciated was that on social media, you immediately said something that I think a lot of people needed to hear in terms of what we need to do to sort of deal with these kinds of situations and prevent them before they happen. Can you sort of reiterate what your points were on that Facebook post?
Well, there's two things, Doctor, I think are absolutely important. I think first is we have to address the culture of violence that has become a norm in this country that we are denying and that we are not facing head on. And that is we have a culture right now in America where the first line of offense is violence. We've done this since 9/11, and we've shown as a government this is what we do. We're mad at people. We attack them. We send planes. We drop missiles. We send bombs. I think we see it in the social media. We see it in TV shows. We see it in entertainment. We see it in video games. We see it in music and YouTube. And so I see all this violence has become kind of the culture of America. We saw it in the healthcare when 50 and 60-year-old people pushed each other in hearings and meetings. So that's one thing. But the second thing then is this gun issue, this love affair of America with guns, and this proliferation of guns, this easy access to guns. We're the most armed country in the world, and we're seeing the effect of that. And until we deal head-on with the gun issues, I tell people all the time, I understand how the Second Amendment has been interpreted by the Supreme Court, fine. But we have to stop this easy access and this proliferation of guns, these loopholes where nobody's held accountable with a gun. The fact is all these guns in Connecticut were bought legally. So guns are being bought legally, sold on the streets, sold in out of trunks and cars, given to anybody to use, and there's no accountability. Assault weapons, first of all, and high magazines should be banned in this country. They're military weapons. How dare we ban them in Iraq, but we won't ban them in our own country. These mass shootings are because we've allowed it in our country, and that needs to be stopped immediately. Secondly, we need to deal with this love affair with guns. And people cannot feel that anybody can get a gun whenever they want in this country and have no accountability. Somebody can go to a gun shop right now, buy 200 guns legally, sell them on the streets, and they're not held responsible. And that's why we've been telling people, title a gun just like a car, so that there is a responsibility that comes with it just like a car. If you don't transfer a title, then you're responsible for what happens to that gun. Close the loopholes. Right? We have 120,000 people in Illinois named with mental illness whose names are not even on the record. So they could go buy a gun today, and there's no accountability to them. You can sell it on the street or you can lose it, and nobody holds you accountable to it. So until we deal with this gun issue, and they say, it's not the gun, it's the person. No, it's the person with the gun. So I always use the example. If we have a staircase, on top of the staircase is a skateboard, and you have to teach your child stay away from the skateboard by the staircase, you could end up killing yourself or hurting yourself badly. I have to teach my child that. But as adults, we also have a responsibility to remove the skateboard from the staircase. And that's what we have to do now, remove the guns from this easy access in America where anybody can get it, anybody can use it, you're not held accountable. So until we deal with the gun issue, I think personally, and that's it's a big part of the problem, that all our public leaders around this country getting out and talking about their sympathy of what happened in Connecticut. My response is, if you do not do something to prevent the next Connecticut or the next Virginia Tech or the next mall shooting or Aurora theater shooting or the Gabby Gifford or the streets of Chicago, if you don't have the courage to do something to prevent it, then understand that your sympathy is shallow, it's phony, it's cheap. It's easy to be sorry. It's courage to say, we are going to, in the name of these children, stop this from continuing to happen in this country.
All right. Well, I know that you're about to head off to go and actually give some meals out to some families today, which is kind of a typical day for you because you're usually doing something for the community every day. And one of the things that I think people should know is that the community you serve, you've seen this kind of violence on a regular basis for a very long time, and the country hasn't necessarily responded in the way that they should. What do you think it is that exists in our nation that allows us to ignore so much of the violence that might take place in urban communities, and then suddenly it's almost as if when this happens in Connecticut, it's sort of the first time a child has ever been shot before, when we know that there are babies dying, all over the neighborhoods across America. We know that babies are dying in Iraq and Palestine and other places. Where do you think that gap in the sensitivity comes from?
Well, I think the other issue that we continue to avoid in America is we are afraid to have an honest conversation about race. And I look at, we have nearly 500 people murdered in Chicago this year, and hundreds of them children and teenagers. And it's been basically dismissed across America because those that are being shot, the number one issue of violence and the victim of violence in this country has been black or brown. And so America has said, well, it's those communities, it's those people, there's the violence, that's how it is in those neighborhoods, and they have dismissed it, and they've turned their heads and walked away from it. 20 innocent children in Connecticut get killed, and all of a sudden it's an American focus. And it should be. All I say is it also should be when it's in Chicago or Oakland or Newark or Philly or any place else in this country. Violence is the undeclared war. It's an epidemic in America, and because the victims are primarily black and brown, we've ignored it. And I've said this for years. I will continue to say it. This is going to happen just like it did with drugs when it was only in the black community. Nobody cared. When it grew into the homes and the backyards of the children of senators and congressmen and elected officials, we had a war on drugs. And understand, until we see this as a human problem and not a black or a brown problem, and right now we're seeing it as a human problem. I'm not quite sure, and I say this with great hurt and pain, but I'm not sure if that 20 children were murdered in the south side of Chicago or South Philly or South Central, we would have the same national response. And that's something we've got to deal with in this country. But the reality is, this tragedy has happened. Let's use this moment to say, if you care about those children, then let's care about children everywhere. Let's care about violence everywhere. And let's decide that this human family has a sickness, a cancer that's destroying it across this country. And we cannot just deal with the symptoms. Connecticut is a symptom. It's a symptom. Arizona is a symptom. Chicago is a symptom. Let's deal with the root causes of guns and violence and a culture that we've developed in this America and race that sits in the middle of it. Let's deal with it, and let's save not just the next child in Connecticut, let's save the next child in America.
All right. Well said. I want to say thank you very much for your time, Father Pfleger. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Doctor. I appreciate all you do, and thanks for your great work, and always thanks for your support.
Well, thank you. That means a lot, brother. It's when you and I had that chance to talk a few weeks ago, I told my friend, I said it was sort of like talking to an older brother. An older brother who's saying, look, this is what I've done over the last 30 years. Now I need you to take this baton and keep running, alongside me. And so your example is one that inspires a lot of us, and that spirit is something that I believe will live forever. So God bless you on that.
Well, thank you, sir, and bless you, man. Appreciate it. Have a blessed Christmas.
Thank you. And thank you all for checking us out at yourblackworld.com. And remember that caring about the children in Connecticut also means that we need to care about the children everywhere. And so let's use this situation to make sure that those babies didn't die in vain, that we can save those other children out there who are going to meet an unfortunate fate if we fail to act today. There's a child out there somewhere now whose life is in jeopardy because something is going to happen to that child if we don't stop the forces of evil in our world that are designed to take that child's future away from him or her. So we've got to act, and we can't just sit back and be polite about it. We've got to go out and do what needs to be done. So until we meet again, please stay strong, be blessed, and be educated. We are gone. Peace.